The rain fell like bullets that night, but the real bullets came later. I never thought my last day alive would start with a phone call from a stranger. But there I was, a broke single father with empty pockets, when fate knocked and changed everything forever. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The rain fell like bullets that night, but the real bullets came later. I never thought my last day alive would start with a phone call from a stranger. But there I was, standing in my cracked kitchen with empty pockets and an eviction notice, when fate knocked. They said a woman needed a driver. Just one night. Good money. I looked at my daughter sleeping on our worn couch, her school books scattered around her, and I said yes. My name is David Carter. I am a single father. I drive an old taxi that breaks down more than it runs. My daughter Emma is 8 years old. She has her mother's eyes and my stubborn heart. 3 years ago, my wife left us for a better life with a richer man. She said I would never be enough. Maybe she was right. But Emma never complained. She smiled through our struggles. She ate simple food without asking why we could not afford more. She wore old clothes and called them vintage. That little girl was my whole world. The night started simple. I pulled up to a tall glass building in the rich part of the city. A woman walked out. She wore a black coat that probably cost more than my car. Her heels clicked on the wet pavement like a countdown. She had sharp eyes that looked tired. Very tired, like someone who had seen too much and felt too little. "Are you the driver?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am. David Carter." She did not smile. She just got in the back seat and said, "Drive to the coast. The old lighthouse road." I started driving. The city lights faded behind us. The rain got heavier. My wipers struggled to keep up. In my mirror, I watched her. She stared out the window like she was saying goodbye to something. Her hands shook slightly. She held a small bottle of pills. "Rough night?" I asked, trying to be friendly. "Rough life," she answered. Something in her voice made me look closer. This was not just a rich woman going for a late drive. This was someone running from something. Or running toward an end. "I'm Victoria Stone," she said suddenly. "You probably know the name." I did. Everyone did. Victoria Stone. The billionaire who owned half the tech companies in the country. Her face was on magazine covers. Her name was on buildings. She was one of the most powerful women in the world. "What's someone like you doing in my old taxi?" I asked. "Trying to feel human one last time," she said quietly. Those words hit me strange. One last time. I looked in the mirror again. She was opening the pill bottle. "Ma'am, what are those pills?" "Freedom," she said. My heart dropped. I understood now. This was not a drive to the coast. This was a drive to her end. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "How many of those you planning to take?" "All of them." "Why?" She laughed, but there was no joy in it. "Why?" "Because I built an empire and lost my soul, because every person in my life wants something from me. Because my own brother is trying to destroy my company to take everything I built. Because I wake up every day in a mansion and feel more alone than a prisoner in a cell. Because money cannot buy peace, and power cannot buy love, and success cannot buy meaning." I drove in silence for a moment. Then I said, "I got $8 in my wallet. I got an eviction notice on my fridge. I got a daughter who needs new shoes and eats rice for dinner most nights. But you know what I also got?" "What?" "A reason to wake up. Her name is Emma. She's 8. She laughs at my bad jokes. She draws me pictures. She tells me I'm her hero even though I'm broke and broken. You got all that money, but I got something you don't. I got someone who needs me to live. Victoria was quiet. Then she said, "You don't understand what it's like." "You're right. I don't understand being rich. But I understand being tired. I understand wanting to give up." Last year, after my wife left, I stood on a bridge. I looked down at the water. I thought about how much easier everything would be if I just stopped fighting. Then Emma called my phone. She said, "Daddy, when are you coming home? I miss you." I stepped back from that edge. Not because I was strong. Because she needed me. "I don't have an Emma," Victoria whispered. "I don't have anyone. Everyone's got someone. You just haven't found them yet." She shook her head. "You don't know my life. You don't know the betrayal. My brother Marcus took everything from me. He stole company secrets. He turned the board against me. He spread lies about my sanity. He wants me dead so he can take it all. And he might get his wish tonight." I was about to respond when headlights flooded my mirror. A black SUV was behind us, coming fast. Too fast. "Ma'am, you expecting someone?" Victoria turned and her face went white. "It's him. It's Marcus. He's been tracking my phone." The SUV rammed us from behind. My taxi jerked forward. Emma's picture on my dashboard fell to the floor. "Hold on!" I shouted. I pressed the gas, but my old taxi was no match for their vehicle. They rammed us again, harder. We spun on the wet road. I fought to control the wheel. The lighthouse was ahead, the road curved around the cliff edge. The ocean crashed on rocks below. The SUV pulled beside us. The window rolled down. A man with cold eyes pointed a gun at Victoria. "End of the line, sister," he shouted. Everything happened in slow motion. I saw his finger on the trigger. I saw Victoria frozen in fear. I thought about Emma. I thought about how she told me heroes are real. I thought about how I was not a hero. I was just a broke driver with nothing to lose except a daughter to live for. I jerked the wheel. I put my taxi between Victoria and the gun. The first bullet hit my shoulder. Fire exploded in my arm. The second bullet hit my chest. The world started fading. The third bullet missed because I was already falling. But that third bullet would have hit Victoria straight in the head. I heard her scream. I heard tires screeching. I heard the crash as my taxi hit the guardrail. Then everything went dark. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital. White walls, beeping machines, pain everywhere. A nurse smiled when she saw my eyes open. "Welcome back, Mr. Carter. You're a miracle." "Emma," I whispered. "My daughter. She's here. She's been here every day." The door opened and Emma ran in. Her eyes were red from crying, but her face was shining with joy. "Daddy. Daddy, you're awake." She hugged me carefully, avoiding my bandages. I held her with my good arm and cried. I cried because I was alive. I cried because I almost left her alone. I cried because 3 bullets tried to take me from my little girl. "I thought I lost you, Daddy," she sobbed. "Never, baby. Never." The door opened again. Victoria Stone walked in. But she looked different. Her eyes were softer. Her face had color. She looked alive in a way she had not been in that taxi. "Mr. Carter," she said, her voice breaking. "You saved my life. Just did what was right. No. You did more than that. You showed me why life matters. You took 3 bullets for a stranger who wanted to die. You protected someone who had given up. You were willing to leave your daughter for someone like me. Someone selfish enough to forget that my death would let evil win." Victoria sat down in the chair beside my bed. Emma held my hand. Your brother? I asked. Arrested. The police found evidence of everything. The tracking, the attack, the attempted murder. He'll spend his life in prison. Good. Victoria reached into her bag and pulled out papers. I need to give you something. Ma'am, I don't want money. It's not about money. It's about justice. It's about making things right. She put the papers on my bed. This is a trust fund for Emma. Full college education, medical care. A real home. Everything she needs. I can't accept that. You can and you will. Because Emma deserves a father who's alive to raise her. And she deserves opportunities you want to give her but can't afford. Please. Let me do this. Let me turn my second chance into something that matters. I looked at Emma. Her hopeful eyes. Her brave smile despite all the fear she had carried. I looked at the papers. I looked at Victoria and saw something I had not seen that rainy night. I saw purpose in her eyes. Okay, I whispered. For Emma. Victoria nodded. Then she said something that surprised me. And I want to offer you a job. Head of my personal security. Good salary. Full benefits. Emma can go to the best schools. You'll never worry about money again. Why? Because you're the only person I trust. You proved it when you could have just driven away. When you could have let me die, when you chose to protect a stranger instead of staying safe for your daughter. That kind of loyalty and character can't be bought. It has to be earned. And you earned my trust with your blood. Over the next weeks, I healed slowly. The bullets had done damage but doctors said I was lucky. 1 inch different and I would have died. Emma visited every day. She brought drawings. Stories from school. Updates about a stray cat she was feeding. Normal beautiful things that reminded me why life matters. Victoria visited too. She told me about her plans. She was rebuilding her company with new values. She was starting foundations for single parents. Scholarships for struggling families, programs for people who felt alone. She was turning her pain into purpose. You changed me, she said one day. That night, I was ready to end everything. I felt empty. Hollow. Like I had built a mountain of success but stood alone at the top with nothing but cold wind and regrets. Then you told me about Emma. You showed me that wealth isn't in bank accounts. It's in love. In purpose, that I am having someone who needs you and choosing to be there. We all need purpose, I said. Rich or poor. We all need a reason to wake up. My brother taught me that people are cruel. You taught me that people are beautiful. Both lessons matter. But yours saved me. When I finally left the hospital, a car was waiting. Not a black SUV. A normal car. Emma bounced with excitement. Victoria stood by the door. Ready to see your new home? She asked. We drove to a neighborhood I had only seen in magazines. Nice houses. Green lawns, safe streets where children played. The car stopped in front of a beautiful house with a red door and a front porch. This is ours. Emma gasped. This is yours, Victoria said. Paid in full. Emma's education fund is set. Medical coverage complete. And David, your job starts whenever you're ready. No pressure. Heal first. I stood on that porch with my daughter and cried. Not from pain. From overwhelming gratitude. From the strange twisted path that led me from holding an eviction notice to holding keys to a real home. Emma hugged Victoria. Thank you for saving my daddy. Victoria knelt down and hugged her back. Your daddy saved me first, sweetheart. He saved me when I forgot how to save myself. That night, Emma and I sat in our new kitchen. Real food in a real fridge, heat that worked, lights that did not flicker. She did her homework at a proper table while I made dinner. Simple moments that felt like miracles. "Daddy, are you a hero?" Emma asked. "No, baby. I'm just your dad." Ms. Victoria said you're the bravest person she knows. Bravery is just love in action. I love you more than I fear anything else. That's not heroism. That's just being your father. She smiled and went back to her math homework. I watched her and thought about that rainy night. 3 bullets that could have ended everything. 3 bullets that somehow started everything new. Months passed. I returned to work as head of Victoria's security. Not because I needed the job anymore, but because I believed in what she was building. She had transformed from a woman wanting death into a woman creating life. Her foundations helped hundreds of families. Single parents got support. Struggling kids got scholarships. Lonely people found community programs. One day, Victoria called me into her office. "David, I want to tell you something. That night changed my life completely. But it also showed me something about myself I had forgotten." "What's that?" "I had become so focused on winning that I forgot why I was fighting. My brother wanted my empire, so I defended it. But I had lost sight of what matters. People matter. Connection matters. Love matters. You reminded me of that when you put your life between me and those bullets. Anyone would have done the same." "No. They wouldn't. Most people would have ducked. Run. Protected themselves. You chose different. Why?" I thought about it. Because Emma taught me that every life matters. Even strangers. Even billionaires who think they want to die. Every person has someone who would miss them. Maybe you felt alone, but somewhere in this world, someone needed you alive. All those people you're helping now. They needed you. They just didn't know it yet. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, David. For everything." 1 year after that rainy night, Victoria held a charity gala. Emma wore a beautiful dress. I wore a suit that actually fit. We stood in a ballroom filled with important people, but I only cared about my daughter's happy face. Victoria took the stage. "Tonight, we celebrate the first anniversary of the Second Chance Foundation. This foundation exists because 1 year ago, a single father taught me the value of life. He took 3 bullets for a stranger. He showed me that heroism isn't about power or money. It's about choosing love over fear. It's about protecting others even when it costs you everything." She looked at me. "David Carter, please come up here." I shook my head, but Emma pushed me forward. The crowd applauded. I walked on stage feeling out of place. Victoria handed me a plaque. "This is the Courage Award. The first of many we'll give to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. People like you who prove that heroes don't wear capes. They drive old taxis. They raise children alone. They choose compassion over comfort." The crowd stood and applauded. I looked at Emma. She was crying happy tears and clapping so hard her hands must have hurt. In that moment, I understood something. We all have moments where we can choose love or fear. Give up or keep fighting. Protect ourselves or protect others. That rainy night, I chose without thinking. I just saw someone in danger and acted. 3 bullets hit me, but 3 miracles followed. The first miracle was surviving. The second miracle was seeing my daughter's face again. The third miracle was watching Victoria transform from wanting death to giving life. After the gala, Emma and I walked to our car. The same rain was falling. Soft and gentle this time. "Daddy, do you ever think about that night?" Emma asked. "Every day, baby. Are you glad it happened?" I thought about the bullets. The pain, the fear. Then I thought about our home. Emma's opportunities. Victoria's purpose, the families being helped by the foundation. Yeah, I'm glad. Sometimes the worst nights lead to the best mornings. I'm glad too. Because now Ms. Victoria smiles. And we have a real home. And you're still my daddy. We drove home through the rain. Not in an old broken taxi, but in a reliable car. Not to a tiny apartment with an eviction notice, but to a house with a red door and a porch where Emma's bike waited. Not with empty pockets and empty hopes, but with full hearts and full futures. That night, I tucked Emma into her bed in her own room. She hugged her stuffed bear and looked at me with sleepy eyes. "Daddy, tell me the story again." "Which story?" "The story about the rain that changed everything." So I told her. I told her about a sad billionaire and a broke driver. About 3 bullets and 3 miracles. About how sometimes we save others and discover that they save us right back. About how love is stronger than bullets and hope is stronger than despair. She fell asleep smiling. I kissed her forehead and walked to my own room. On my dresser was a framed photo from the gala. Me, Emma, and Victoria. 3 people connected by one rainy night. 3 lives changed forever. I touched the scars on my chest where the bullets hit. They ached sometimes. Reminded me how close I came to leaving Emma alone. But they also reminded me of something more important. Life is fragile. Precious, worth fighting for, worth taking bullets for. Worth protecting even when it costs everything. Victoria had wanted to die because she felt her life meant nothing. But her life meant everything to all the people she would help. To all the families who would receive second chances because she got one first. I had been ready to give up my life to save hers. Not because she was rich. Not because she was important. But because every life matters, even when that life belongs to someone who has forgotten their own value. The rain fell outside my window. Gentle now. Peaceful. I thought about how rain can sound like bullets when you're scared. But it can also sound like music when you're grateful to be alive to hear it. I was alive. Emma was safe. Victoria had purpose. 3 bullets tried to end everything, but instead they began everything. That's the strange, beautiful mystery of life. Sometimes our worst moments create our best blessings. Sometimes protecting a stranger teaches us about ourselves. Sometimes 3 bullets to the chest open your heart wider than it ever was before. I lay in my comfortable bed in my warm house and listened to the rain. Tomorrow, Emma would wake up and eat breakfast in our kitchen. She would go to a good school with new shoes and new hope. I would go to work protecting someone who had become a friend. Victoria would continue building something that mattered. All because one broke single father chose love over fear on a rainy night 1 year ago. All because 3 bullets hit flesh but missed the spirit. All because sometimes the people who seem to have everything need saving the most. And sometimes the people who seem to have nothing have exactly what the world needs. Love, courage, purpose, hope. The rain fell softer now. I closed my eyes and smiled. Tomorrow would come with new challenges and new chances. But tonight, I was simply grateful. Grateful for scars that proved I survived. Grateful for a daughter who made survival worth it. Grateful for a second chance given to someone else that somehow gave me one too. The rain that changed everything was just water. But the love that night was everything else. And in the end, love was all that mattered. Love was all that saved us. Love was why 3 bullets couldn't kill what really mattered. We were all still here. Still fighting, still hoping, still living lives that meant something. And that was the greatest miracle of all. But the story did not end there. Stories about love and sacrifice never really end. They just grow deeper with time. 2 years passed. Emma was now 10 years old. She had grown taller, smarter, more confident. She topped her class. She made friends easily. She smiled without the worry that used to hide behind her eyes. The worry about whether we would have food. Whether we would have a home, whether her daddy would come back each night. Now she worried about normal things. Math tests. Which book to read next. Whether the stray cat she adopted would like the new toys she bought him with her allowance. Normal beautiful childhood worries. I watched her change and my heart filled with joy. This was what taking those bullets had earned. Not just her physical safety, but her emotional freedom. The freedom to be a child instead of a little girl carrying adult fears. Victoria changed too. The broken woman from that rainy night was gone completely. In her place stood someone vibrant and alive. She dated a kind man who loved her for who she was, not what she owned. She laughed often. She spent less time in boardrooms and more time in communities helping real people with real problems. Her Second Chance Foundation had grown massive. It helped thousands of single parents. It provided housing assistance, job training, childcare support, and counseling. Every person who received help was getting the chance I got. The chance to breathe. To hope. To believe tomorrow could be better. One Saturday morning, Victoria invited Emma and me to a special event. We drove to the poor part of the city where I used to live. Where my old apartment still stood with its cracked walls and broken dreams. A crowd had gathered. News cameras, families, children holding balloons. Victoria stood on a small stage in front of a building covered with a large cloth. "Thank you all for coming," Victoria said into the microphone. 2 years ago, I learned that wealth means nothing without purpose. That power means nothing without compassion. That success means nothing without sacrifice. A brave man taught me these lessons with his blood. She looked at me. David Carter showed me that the richest people are not those with the most money, but those with the most love. Today, we honor that lesson. She pulled a cord. The cloth fell away. The building behind it was newly renovated. Beautiful, welcoming, above the door, golden letters spelled out, "The Emma Carter Center for Single Parents." My breath caught in my throat. Emma grabbed my hand and squeezed tight. "This center will provide everything single parents need to survive and thrive," Victoria continued. Free childcare. Job training, financial counseling, mental health support, legal aid, medical care. Everything that David struggled to find when he needed it most. And it bears Emma's name because she is the reason her father fought to live. She is the reason he chose courage over comfort. She represents every child who needs their parent to keep fighting. Emma started crying. Happy tears that broke my heart and healed it at the same time. I knelt down and hugged her. "Daddy, that's my name on the building," she whispered. "You earned it, baby. By being the reason I wake up every day. By being my purpose when I had nothing else." After the ceremony, families toured the center. Single mothers with tired eyes but hopeful faces, single fathers who looked like I used to look, carrying the weight of the world and trying not to break. They saw the resources available. The help waiting, the second chances ready to be given. One young father approached me. He held a little boy about 3 years old. "Are you David Carter?" he asked. "Yes. I read about you. About what you did. About the bullets. Man, you're crazy brave." I shook my head. "Not brave. Just desperate to protect what matters." "I feel desperate every day," he admitted. "My wife died last year. Cancer. I got this little guy and no idea how to do this alone. Bills piling up. Job barely pays rent. Some days I think about giving up. Giving him to family who can do better." I looked at the little boy. He had his father's eyes and a toy truck clutched in his small hand. "Don't give up," I said firmly. "I know it's hard. I know some days you feel like you're drowning. But that little boy needs you. Not a richer version of you. Not a more successful version. Just you, his daddy, the man who loves him most in the world. The father's eyes filled with tears. How do you keep going? You find your reason. Look at him. Really look at him. See his future. See his wedding day. His graduation, his children. See all the beautiful moments he'll have because you chose to stay. Because you chose to fight. That vision gets you through the dark days. He looked at his son. Really looked. The little boy smiled up at him and said, "Daddy, can we go see the toys?" The father laughed through his tears. "Yeah, buddy. We can see the toys." As they walked away, Victoria appeared beside me. "You're good at this," she said. "At what?" "Giving hope. You do it naturally. Like breathing. I just tell the truth. Life is hard but love makes it worth it." Victoria smiled. The center needs a director. Someone who understands what these families face. Someone who has lived their struggles and survived, someone who can inspire them to keep fighting. You offering me a job? I'm offering you a purpose bigger than security work. I'm offering you a chance to save people every day instead of just protecting me. What do you say? I looked around the center. At the families finding hope. At the resources that would change lives. At Emma's name above the door reminding everyone that children are worth fighting for. I say yes. So I became the director of the Emma Carter Center. I traded my security uniform for casual clothes and a desk in an office where single parents could come talk. Share their fears. Find solutions. Discover they were not alone. Every day I met people like me. People struggling. People tired. People wondering if they had the strength to keep going. And every day I told them my story. About the rainy night, about the bullets. About the billionaire who wanted to die and the broke father who showed her why life matters. If I can survive 3 bullets and come out better, I told them, you can survive your struggles too. Not just survive. Thrive. Build something beautiful from the broken pieces. Emma started volunteering at the center on weekends. At 10 years old, she helped in the children's area. She played with kids whose parents were meeting with counselors. She read them stories. Drew pictures with them. Made them laugh. One day I watched her comfort a little girl who was crying. The girl's mother was in my office talking about her abusive ex-husband. About restraining orders and custody battles and fear that never went away. Emma sat with the little girl and said, "My daddy and me were scared too once. We didn't have money or a nice home. But we had each other. And that was enough. Now we help other people like you. So they can be brave like us." The little girl stopped crying. She held Emma's hand and smiled. I stood in the doorway watching my daughter become the person I always hoped she would be. Kind. Compassionate. Strong, using her blessings to bless others. That evening, Victoria stopped by the center. She often did, checking on things and meeting with families. "David, I need to tell you something," she said. We sat in my office. Through the window, I could see Emma playing with children in the courtyard. 2 years ago tonight, I planned to die, Victoria said. I had the pills ready. The location chosen, the note written. I was done. Finished, ready to end the pain. I remember. But you changed everything. Not just by taking bullets for me. But by showing me that my pain had a purpose, that my suffering could become someone else's salvation. Every family we help is proof that my life matters. That survival was the right choice. She reached across the desk and took my hand. Thank you, David. For refusing to let me quit. For showing me that even billionaires need saving sometimes. For proving that heroes are real and they drive old taxis and raise beautiful daughters. You saved us too, I said. Emma and me. We were drowning before that night. Now look at us. We're helping others stay afloat. Victoria smiled. We saved each other. That's how it works. We're all connected. Your pain touches my pain. My healing helps your healing. We rise together or we sink together. That night, I took Emma to dinner at a nice restaurant. We sat by the window watching the rain fall. The same kind of rain from that night 2 years ago. Daddy, do you ever wish that night never happened? Emma asked. Sometimes I wish I didn't get shot. The pain was terrible. The recovery was long. I couldn't hug you properly for months. But I don't wish the night away. Because it taught me something important. It taught me that giving up your life for someone else can actually give you a better life. Not despite the sacrifice, but because of it. I became someone better that night. Someone braver. Someone who proved that love is stronger than bullets. Emma smiled. You're my hero, Daddy. And you're mine, baby. You're the reason I dove in front of those bullets. Because a world without you in it isn't worth living in. We finished dinner and drove home. Our real home with the red door and the porch and Emma's bike and all the normal beautiful things that used to be impossible dreams. I tucked Emma into bed. She hugged her stuffed bear and looked at me with sleepy eyes. Daddy, I want to help people when I grow up. Like you and Ms. Victoria. You already do, sweetheart. Every day at the center. No, I mean really help. I want to be a doctor. So I can save people like Ms. Victoria saved you. So I can make people better when they're hurt. My eyes filled with tears. My little girl who used to worry about having enough food was now dreaming about saving lives. You'll be an amazing doctor, I whispered. Will you be proud of me? I'm already proud of you. Every single day. She fell asleep smiling. I kissed her forehead and walked to the living room. Victoria had sent me a photo from the center's opening. Me and Emma standing under the sign with her name, both of us smiling. Both of us proof that second chances are real. I looked at my reflection in the window. The scars on my chest were hidden under my shirt, but I felt them. They ached sometimes when the weather changed. But they also reminded me of something powerful. Pain has purpose. Suffering can become salvation. Bullets can't kill love. And sometimes the worst nights lead to the most beautiful mornings. 3 bullets hit my body that rainy night. But they missed my soul. They missed my heart. They missed everything that really mattered. I survived because Emma needed me. Victoria survived because I showed her that life has meaning beyond money and power. And now thousands of families were surviving because we chose to turn our pain into purpose. The rain fell outside my window. Gentle. Peaceful, beautiful, it no longer sounded like bullets. It sounded like music. Like hope. Like the sound of second chances falling from the sky. I closed my eyes and smiled. Tomorrow, I would wake up and go to the center. I would meet more struggling parents and tell them to keep fighting. Emma would volunteer and make children laugh. Victoria would continue building her empire of compassion. And somewhere in the city, someone would look at the Emma Carter Center and think, maybe I can make it. Maybe there's hope. Maybe I'm not alone. That was the real miracle of that rainy night 2 years ago. Not that I survived 3 bullets. But that those 3 bullets created an endless chain of survival for others. We were all connected. All fighting together. All proving that love conquers fear and hope conquers despair. And in the end, that was all that mattered. The rain fell. The city slept. And somewhere, a single parent held their child and chose to keep fighting for one more day. Because of a broke driver who took 3 bullets for a billionaire who wanted to die. Because sometimes heroes are just ordinary people who choose love when it costs them everything. Because every life matters. Every child deserves a fighting parent. And every dark night eventually leads to dawn.